but a scene that would have incensed Egypt's old establishment. A queen competing with a king, unthinkable. More proof that Nefertiti wielded power behind the throne. "70 days after Nefertiti's death, her mummification would have been complete. The royal embalmers had cast spells and performed rituals to help preserve her body for all eternity. She was now ready to meet her God. She had led an extraordinary life. Child bride, queen, living goddess and pharaoh. Heretic. A revolutionary who tried to transform Egypt and failed, plunging her country into a maelstrom that may have led inexorably to her death.
This is a dramatization of events as they happened on a day that shook the world. For 750,000 Palestinians, the exile is just beginning. Saeed says he has heard that there are spaces on the last British convoy out of town. They will even be allowed to take their weapons. It is their last hope. Hassan decides they will leave Jaffa and link up with the Arab Legion army wherever they can find it, then return to liberate the town. They take what mementos they can, as well as the keys to their family home and the deeds to their business. Whatever happens after midnight, there will be a new authority when they return, and they will need to prove ownership. They expect to be back in a few days with the Liberation Army. It doesn't occur to them that they may never return. The climax of the declaration is Israel's commitment to peace with its Arab neighbors. For Golda Meir, this moment of independence is the realization of a dream she thought she would never see. (1806), Derbyshire. The coffin of a remarkable woman nears the end of its 7-day journey from London. Nearly 200 years before Diana, Princess of Wales, the death of one of her ancestors was also mourned by an adoring public. At 16, Lady Georgiana Spencer had married one of the richest and most powerful men in Britain. The most envied and admired woman of her time, she was hounded by the press right up to her death. In her life, she'd been a superstar. More written about than any other woman of her day. The evidence has survived in cartoons and newspapers, letters and diaries. Adored by everyone but her husband, she found love outside her marriage, risking everything in search of happiness. That may sound familiar, but this is an 18th century story, set at a time when a small circle of friends and enemies ruled Britain. At their heart was Georgiana, the People's Duchess.
The 18th century is the high point of just betting. People bet on almost everything, and how much they can drink, how high they can jump, how fast they can run. Cards are a fact of life.
Her friends worried about her. One wrote,
"The Duchess goes to bed at 3 and lies in bed till 4.
Georgiana drove herself close to the edge. The press had a field day. The paparazzi scented blood. But at the time, never got close enough to get the real story.
A bull bait was sufficient to sate the common born, but James I displayed his power and wealth by arranging lion baits.
It was a sport of kings for him, a sport of the king and of his people. Lions against lions, lions against bears, lions against horses, lions against lambs.
The king came privately to the tower and caused the great lion to be put in the yard, and 4 dogs at a course to be set upon him. These were choice dogs, and flew all at the lion's head, whereat the lion became enraged, and with his claws he tore their flesh extremely, until they were utterly spoiled. The lion, having fought long, and his tongue torn, lay staring and panting, so as all the beholders thought he had been spent.
Rome, on the Ides, the 15th of March, 44 BC. Senators await the head of state. Julius Caesar, dictator of Rome, conqueror of Europe. First item on the agenda, murder. The nation's shrewdest and greatest general arrives at the Senate unguarded, having dismissed all warnings. As bystanders look on in horror, he is cut down. The deed is quick, bloody, and public. The identity of the culprits beyond doubt. But did the famous conspirators, Brutus and Cassius, really mastermind Caesar's murder? Or were they just the pawns of an unseen hand? But one man isn't happy that the received version of events is the whole truth.